Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Livingston, and I am the Bitcoin Wizard. Welcome to the presentation for every single retail trader out there whose brain is powered by expired Bang energy drinks and whatever motivational quote that they saw on Instagram during their bathroom break at the Amazon warehouse. If Bitcoin dipping to $89,000 made you panic, congratulations. You have officially failed the most basic stress test in finance. And yes, you should sell your Bitcoin. You should sell all of it. You should sell it fast so people with working frontal lobes can buy in without having to deal with your own emotional turbulence. I love how these people act like Bitcoin owes them a weekly morale update. They stare at the chart like it's supposed to apologize. They act like the asset that has outperformed every stock, every commodity, every bond, every currency, and probably their entire family tree. It's supposed to comfort them because it dropped 8% on a Wednesday. These people are not investors. These people are tourists. They are customers at a mall kiosk who wandered into a $1 trillion asset class by total accident. Bitcoin is the apex asset. It has destroyed everything put next to it for 16 straight years. You could buy literal trash with better conviction than these people have. They bought Bitcoin because a YouTuber told them number go up, and now they're shocked that a global free market sometimes moves in other directions rather than up. These people think that volatility is a personal attack. They think that a red candle is cyberbullying. So here's the deal. If you cannot stomach a pullback without calling your mother and asking for emotional support, sell, get out, leave. We don't want you here. Go back to whatever discount brokerage app told you that ETFs are safe and yields are guaranteed. The rest of us want cleaner order books and fewer people having panic attacks during normal market behavior. Bitcoin will keep going. It will keep climbing. It will keep obliterating every asset that your financial advisor pretends to understand. The apex asset does not pause overall trajectory because Chad from accounting got nervous at $89,000 per coin. The serious buyers, they want you to sell, including myself. I want your Bitcoin from you, and I want it at lower prices. So sell all of your Bitcoin to me. I want you to fold. I want to buy your coins because I understand what you do not. Bitcoin is not struggling. You are struggling. Bitcoin is not exposed by volatility. Volatility exposes you for being weak. Now hit sell and get out of my way so the real investors can work. But before we get started today, I really want to give a thank you to Horizon. Horizon helps you take your trapped home equity and you get to take that equity and just go buy Bitcoin. Yes, you can buy the dip with your home equity. How glorious is that? They'll help you every single step of the way. It's super easy. There's no debt, there's no monthly payments, and there's no term limits. The Bitcoin is fully yours to hold however you want to with no risk of forced liquidation. I'll talk more about them at the end of the video, and the link is in the description below. These people are treating a Bitcoin dip as a medical emergency. These are the geniuses who see a 30% pullback and react like their house just burned down. They post charts with crying emojis and say things like, I did not sign up for this. Wrong. Yes, you did sign up for this. You clicked buy on the most volatile, highest performing asset on earth. What exactly did you think was going to happen? A relaxing spa experience? Bitcoin has already survived exchanges blowing up, governments banning it and panicking, journalists writing the dumbest articles ever conceived, you're complaining, and entire industries trying to kill it. It has tanked harder 20 different times and still ended every cycle, making everything else look like a savings account for people who hate money. Yet we are here again with the fresh batch of tourists acting blindsided because the chart moved without their own written permission. You know who complains about this kind of stuff? The people who show up in bull markets, the people who bought last month because their favorite influencer said this is the moment, and now they can't handle the fact that Bitcoin moves faster than their attention span. These individuals are not investors in the slightest. These people people are spectators with cash. They get scared, then they sell, then they blame the universe, they blame their favorite influencer, and then they wonder why their retirement plan collapses every 3 years. The volatility really isn't the problem. The problem is that half of retail traders have the emotional stability of a raccoon trapped in a vending machine. They cannot sit still. They cannot think long term in the slightest. They cannot survive 24 hours of red without having a profound existential crisis. Meanwhile, people with real capital and real conviction are happy to buy their coins at a discount because weakness is the most predictable renewable resource in markets. So if this dip has triggered you, if you are pacing around your living room whispering, "Should I sell?" let me help you. Yes, you should sell because you cannot handle it. If you cannot handle the heat, you must get out of the kitchen. You should exit immediately. You should remove yourself from the Bitcoin ecosystem before you embarrass yourself further. The volatility exposes those who are serious and those who are pretending. Bitcoin is fine. You are the shaky one. Hit sell and spare us the rest of the noise. This is where I'm going to break down the psychology of the average Bitcoin bear. This is where I analyze people who are making these brilliant contrarian moves while operating with the processing power of a broken sewing machine. These people are not necessarily bearish. They are just overwhelmed by markets that move faster than their capacity for thought. Because let's be honest, most of these bears, they're not building models. They're not reading filings. They're not studying supply dynamics. They are scrolling on their phones at 2 o'clock in the morning, misreading a headline, and suddenly everybody thinks that they discover the truth about Bitcoin that every single billionaire, hedge fund, and sovereign wealth manager somehow missed. These are the same people who thought that buying a meme coin would pay their mortgage. Now they claim to have deep macro insight because they watched 2 TikTok videos narrated by a teenager with a ring light. Bitcoin drops 20 to 30% and these people treat it like it's some divine revelation. They start talking about bubbles and tulips and whatever recycled nonsense that they Googled and tweeted about last cycle. It is always the exact same script. They pretend to be logical while shaking like they're on their 4th iced coffee of the morning. Nothing about their analysis is real in the slightest. It is stress relief disguised as financial wisdom. The truth is very simple. Bears are not actually bearish on Bitcoin. They are bearish on their own discipline, on their own IQ. They bought late in their minds. They bought without a plan. They bought without foresight. They bought more than they could even afford. They're probably leveraged like an idiot. Now they cope by pretending that the asset is broken instead of admitting that they were unprepared. They are not calling the top. They are trying to justify their own panic. The long-term holders like me, we always observe this behavior like we're scientists watching a lab rat repeatedly fail the exact same maze. Nothing changes. The bears panic, the bears sell, Bitcoin recovers, Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, like it did 44 days ago. The bears post a 3-paragraph apology thread before disappearing until the next drawdown triggers their anxiety again. So here is the reality check. If you identify with any of this, you should sell. There is no shame in admitting that you were not built for this market because Bitcoin rewards patience and conviction. You have neither of those things. You need to let the serious long-term investors take your place. They will use your exit to accumulate more while you rebuild your self-esteem on the sidelines, so everyone wins. Every time Bitcoin pulls back, the same crowd behaves like they just witnessed the end of civilization. They stare at their screen like the market committed a personal offense against them, and it is pathetic. Bitcoin did not change. The network is totally fine. The blocks are fine. The miners are fine. The adoption curve is fine. The only thing that broke was your emotional stability because you are a little clown rat. If a routine drop turns your entire personality into a panic switch, if you need to go onto Twitter to get mad at other people who still like Bitcoin and Metaplanet and MSTR, you should not be here. You should be in an index fund with the other people who treat markets like they are a mood board. People love to brag when the price goes up. They call themselves visionaries. They talk about financial freedom. They say that they are early, and then the moments that Bitcoin pulls back, they start pacing around like they received a court summon. The truth comes out fast though. They were tourists the entire time. They were never here for the long term because they don't have the IQ. IQ. They just wanted easy money and zero discomfort. Bitcoin does not reward that attitude in the slightest. It rewards people who understand the asset that they bought. It rewards people who stay calm when the chart looks like a crime scene. It rewards people who can sit in the red without throwing a tantrum. If red candles turn you into a shell of a human, it is time to pack your bags. You are not failing Bitcoin at this point. You are just failing yourself, and your parents think that you are pathetic. And this is why, because the pain test exposes the gap between conviction and cosplay. Some people look at a drawdown and they think opportunity. Others think disaster. And one group gets richer every single cycle. The other group spends 10 years complaining about decisions that they made while panicking during normal market volatility. So if the red candles made you sweat, panic, refresh your app 20 times, or start irrational conversations about selling everything, congratulations, you failed the test. Sell your Bitcoin and step aside so someone with discipline can take your place. And this is where I'm going to explain exactly what actually happens when you sell Bitcoin. And spoiler alert, nothing noble, nothing smart at all, nothing strategic. You are not executing a master plan. You are performing free labor for the people who understand this market better than you. Fun fact, when you sell your Bitcoin during a dip, the institutions do not fear you. They don't respect you. They do not think that you made a defensive play. They simply mark you down as another retail casualty and take the coins off of your hands with a level of calm that you have never experienced in your life. They were waiting for you to crack. You finally cracked. They win, you lose, and that is the transaction. Whales love these moments because they don't say a word. They sit quietly and wait for you to panic. They watch the order books like hawks and let the price wobble just enough to trigger your emotional collapse. Then they buy everything that you dump while you type your emotional rants into group chats about how Bitcoin makes you feel unstable. And your friends don't tell you this because they're pathetic, spineless cowards, but selling during a Bitcoin dip is the financial equivalent of tripping over your own feet in public. Everyone sees it. Everyone understands what happens. Nobody says anything to spare your feelings. The chart goes back up, the network keeps running, and you walk around convinced that you made a calculated decision instead of a meltdown. And the long-term holders treat your sale like a holiday. They celebrate your lack of conviction. They stack your coins without hesitation. They know what you do not. Bitcoin punishes weakness. It always has. It always will. You are not making a disciplined trade because you're an idiot. You are clearing the runway for everyone else who is smarter than you. So if you want to sell, please do. You will not disrupt anything. You will not change the narrative. You will simply redistribute your future gains to people with stronger stomachs and better decision-making skills. Bitcoin continues forward. You remain stuck in the same cycle of fear and regret, and that is the reality because you are pathetic. And this is where I'll talk about the bearish arguments, which is very generous wording because most bearish arguments are not actually arguments. They are coping sessions disguised as market commentary. Every single cycle, we hear these same broken ideas repeated by people with anxiety. Let's go through the classics. Bitcoin is too volatile. Remember, that is not an insight. That is just a confession that you never learned how markets work. Volatility built this entire asset. Volatility created every single millionaire that you envy. You are basically announcing that you lack the emotional consistency required for wealth creation. Next, it is overvalued. You are not doing valuation models in your spare time. You are not Warren Buffett. You are not an analyst. You are somebody who got in late, you got scared, and now you want the world to believe that your panic is wisdom. But I won't be gaslighted by some low IQ little goblin rat. You did not uncover a hidden truth. You are just rationalizing bad timing. And then we have the elite tier of delusion, which is macro uncertainty. These people have never read a policy paper, never tracked money markets. They've never studied liquidity cycles. They repeat the macro buzzwords like they are ordering from a drive-thru. They have no idea what they're talking about, but the phrases make them feel intelligent. It is performance, nothing more. And every single bearish take falls into one of these three categories: fear, regret, confusion, and not the need to sound informed. None of it is real analysis. None of it impacts the asset. It is a computer network network that will keep ticking every single 10 minutes. And Bitcoin doesn't readjust itself because someone with a Robinhood account wrote a concerned comments thread. Remember, all of the real investors, they just ignore all of this low IQ slop. They understand supply dynamics, they understand adoption, they understand long-term demand, because the bears are screaming into the void. The bears always disappear at the top and reappear at the bottom, which tells you everything that you need to know about their so-called conviction. So here is the harsh truth. If you are making bearish arguments right now, you are not contributing to the conversation. You are broadcasting that you cannot handle your own decisions. Sell your Bitcoin and free yourself from pretending that you are a strategist, because clearly it is taking an emotional toll on you and the market is not going to miss you. And this is the moments where I give you permission to do what your nervous system has been begging you to do since the second that you clicked buy on your first fraction of a Bitcoin. Sell, get out, exit. You are not built for this, and that is okay. The problem is that you pretend that you are, and the reality is this asset is not for everyone. It demands patience, it demands competence, and the ability to sit still without having a low IQ emotional episode. There is no participation trophy, kids. There is no sympathy for financial panic. You either handle it or you get replaced by someone who can. Every single time that you panic sell, the serious buyers just get richer. They're not mad at you though. They appreciate you. They love you. You are the one that is getting them rich, so you need to sell, please. We will sit in silence while you sell us your Bitcoin. This is glorious. I will never understand why you did, but Bitcoin rewards the people who think clearly, and it punishes people who refresh your app 50 times a day like you're checking some exam scores. It doesn't care about your group chats with your stupid friends. It doesn't care that you think $89,000 per coin is scary. It keeps running, it keeps settling, it keeps absorbing capital, it builds a future while you look at a red candle and fall apart like a folding chair at a family reunion. So here is the final invitation for all of the Bitcoin bears. If volatility has ruined your confidence, sell. If you cannot sleep while the chart drops, sell. If you need analysts to babysit your emotions, just go and sell. Serious investors want the order books clean. They want fewer tourists. They want fewer emotional breakdowns disguised as market opinions. You are not obligated to stay here in the slightest. You are not obligated to stay here. You are allowed to quit. And when you do, Bitcoin will continue rising while you explain to your friends that you just needed stability, and that is fine. Not everyone is built for the apex asset, and guess what? Some bloodlines will thank you, but your bloodline will despise you. Some people are meant to sit in the bleachers while others take the field. Decide which one that you are. My name is Adam Livingston. I am the Bitcoin Wizard. If you like this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I am spreading the orange gospel of Bitcoin to the masses on a daily basis with more energy than anybody, and I need your help spreading the truth of Bitcoin. Send this to your friends and family who need a wake-up call too. Leave a comment with what content you want to hear next. Have a terrific day. Do not party too hard. Class dismissed. Once again, a special thanks to Horizon for sponsoring this video. Most people don't realize this, but on average, 60% of American homeowners' net worth is locked up in their primary residence. And with home prices more inflated than ever, Americans now sit on a combined $35 trillion in home equity. Now there's a way to unlock that trapped capital and put it to work in Bitcoin. Horizon helps homeowners unlock a portion of their home equity to buy Bitcoin. It is not a loan, so there are no new monthly payments. You keep living in your home as usual, and then later when you sell, refinance, or choose to settle early, Horizon's provider takes an agreed share of your home's future value. That is the trade. Unlock cash now to stack Bitcoin by selling a slice of your home's future value while you continue living in it. What makes Horizon stand out is that there are no term limits and you keep 100% of the Bitcoin upside. The Bitcoin is fully yours to custody however you want, wherever you want, with no risk of forced liquidation. If you've been sitting on a pile of home equity and are eager to invest in Bitcoin, this may be the product for you. Visit joinhorizon.com to see if you qualify and get started. Their team of experts will work with you one-on-one from start to finish. Transform your dormant home equity into Bitcoin today with Horizon.